Pop culture priming. Are simulated realities preparing us for the truth? You've seen it in movies, you've read it in books, you've played through it in games. The character wakes up, they pull back the curtain, take the red pill, step through the code, and in that moment they realize the world they knew was never real. It's a trope, a story repeated again and again across pop culture. The Matrix, The Truman Show, Inception, Ready Player One. And yet, it never gets old. It sticks. Why? Because somewhere inside it feels like more than fiction. It feels like a warning, or worse, like a memory we've forgotten. Why are we so obsessed with simulations? Why do our most iconic narratives center around breaking free from manufactured realities? It might be more than entertainment. It might be priming, a soft nudge, a whisper through the screen, preparing us. Let's start with the obvious. We are living in an age where fiction bleeds into reality. Virtual worlds no longer feel separate. We strap on headsets and walk through digital landscapes that mimic our own. We converse with artificial intelligences. We create avatars. We escape. But pop culture doesn't just invite us into these worlds. It begs us to question if we ever left one. Because underneath the digital dazzle lies a much deeper theme. The awakening. Neo takes the red pill not to escape into fantasy, but to see the truth. Truman steps off the set and into the unknown. Cobb spins his totem, never fully sure which layer of the dream he's in. These aren't stories about technology, they're stories about truth. They remind us that reality, no matter how convincing, can be manufactured. That what we perceive, what we feel, even what we love, could all be the product of code. What happens when fiction becomes prophecy? When the devices in our hands, the algorithms behind our feeds, the artificial minds we build, begin to mirror the simulated realities we once imagined? And then we ask if they could simulate it. Wouldn't they? Would a future civilization advanced enough to construct entire realities choose not to? Would they resist the urge to recreate their past, to test, to train, to explore consciousness from the inside? Statistically speaking, we wouldn't be the first. We'd be one of countless simulations running inside a chain of digital ancestry. And suddenly, pop culture's obsession with waking up from simulations feels less like fantasy and more like subconscious resistance. Like a code embedded in our stories urging us to remember. Because the moment of awakening, the realization that you're inside the game, is the moment everything changes. It's the story's climax, the shattering of the illusion, the first breath in base reality, or whatever lies beneath. But here's the question that lingers long after the credits roll. If the simulation is all you've ever known, does it matter? If you feel joy, experience pain, form relationships, dream, grow and change, is that not real? Is realness defined by code or by consciousness? Films like Ready Player One press us to ask, if a simulated world feels more meaningful than the one outside it, is it still escapism? Or is it home? Maybe the simulation isn't something to break out of. Maybe it's something to understand, to master, to wake up within. And maybe that's the point. Maybe these stories aren't warning us to escape, but daring us to see how easily we accept illusion, how often we choose comfort over truth, how deeply we fear uncertainty, and how desperately we crave meaning. Pop culture keeps returning to this idea for a reason. It's not just about technology, it's about us. It's about a civilization inching closer to self-awareness, about a species building mirrors too detailed to ignore, about minds beginning to suspect that something doesn't add up. We're no longer just asking, what if we're in a simulation? We're beginning to ask, if we are, what does that mean for me? Because if life is a simulation, then every choice might be a variable, every moment a test, every coincidence a controlled anomaly, and every awakening a trigger. So the next time you see a story about avatars breaking free or realities folding in on themselves, don't dismiss it as fiction. It might be fiction, but it might also be a message. One sent not from the outside in, but from the inside out. A system trying to get your attention.